Welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, November 29th, 2021, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And we are going to continue with this series on Artifacts and Relics. This is part 4. This is a look-see into the first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Masters Guide section on those artifacts and relics. And we've been plowing along with this baby, so we're going to continue. I'm going to have to shift some stuff around here to get it set up, but we were working into Table 5, the Prime Powers section, so we'll continue doing that. There we go. That's looking all right. I don't know. Looks like I'm having trouble connecting to the chat. I don't know what that's all about. Apparently I am streaming, so that's working fine. I was having trouble with some other chat functions earlier, but we got to put this one on the books, so we're going to continue. Table 5, Prime Powers A. All of Possessor's ability totals permanently raised 2 points each upon pronouncement of a command word, 18 maximum. So that's pretty good. All of the Possessor's abilities, each upon the pronouncement of a command word. So you would need 6 different command words, 1 for each ability score, and they could all get raised up 2 points. B, all of Possessor's ability totals raised to 18, each upon the pronouncement of a command word. So none of this 2-point jumping. Right to the top, it is every player's dream to have a character with all 18s, and then do what? You're still going to miss some die rolls. That's always possible. C, bones, exoskeleton, cartilage of opponent turned to jelly 1 time per day. So you just take an opponent and it's just that fast. So it's not annihilation, but only because there's a sort of residue left behind, right? A Cacodemon-like power summons a Demon Lord, Archdevil, or a Nycadaemon 1 time per month. So most demons are able to summon more of their own kind or more of some slightly lesser daemons. And in this case, so is the possessor of this particular artifact or relic. Creeping Doom, callable 1 time per day. So one of the nastier spells of all time. 1 second, I'm going to pop that open and have a quick read of it, because now I'm going to be curious about completely what that spell will do, and I think it's interesting to find out that sort of thing. It is a rather high-level spell. Character spells. Shut that down there. I'm going to fix a couple things before I switch it over here to be nice and visible. We don't want to change that yet. All right. Give me one more second here while I... Oh, of course, the spell's not completely... Creeping Doom. Looking over the various spell levels. Oh, I thought it was a higher level spell. Alright, we'll get back to that in just a little bit. Let's switch over and get back onto the prime powers. That way we're not just wasting everyone's time. Alright. Death Ray equal to a Finger of Death with no saving throw, 1 time per day. G, Death Spell Power of 110% to 200% effectiveness with respect to number of levels affected. So it's a death spell on steroids. That's 1 time per day. Gate Spell, 100% effective, 1 time per day. No chance of it failing. Imprisonment, spell power 1 time per week. Magical resistance of 50 to 75% for possessor upon command word, 1 time per day. Major attribute permanently raised to 19 upon command word. Meteor Swarm 1 time per day. Monster Summoning 8 2 times per day. Plane Shift 1 time per day. Polymorph any object 1 time per day. Power Word Blind /kill/stunned. So one of those 3, 1 time per day. I would question whether that's this object always has power word kill, or whether it's I can choose each day whether to do blind kill or stunned 1 time per day. Anyway, premonition of death or serious harm to possessor. R, prismatic spray 1 time per day. Restoration 1 time per day. Resurrection 7 times a week. Really? This is so that you can just go around and bring people back from the dead? I don't know. That's pretty heavy. Resurrection 7 times per week. Shades 2 times a day. Shape change 2 times per day. Spell absorption 19 to 24 levels worth of spells coming at you 1 time per week. Summon 1 time. Summon 1 of each type of elemental, 16 hit dice each, no need for control, 1 time per week. Summon a Jinn or Ifrit Lord, 8 hit points per die, +2 to hit, +4 damage for 1 day of service. You can do this 1 time per week. Super Sleep Spell affects double the number of creatures plus up to 2/5 or 6th and 1/7 or 8th level creature. Incredibly high level sleep spell. That's crazy. Not as much as 7 resurrections a week. That's incredibly powerful. Anyway, still a little stunned there. Temporal stasis, no saving throw, upon touch, 1 time per month. BB. The item enables the possessor to legend lore, commune, or contact higher plane, 7th to 10th level, at that level of ability, 1 time per week. That's better than a Google search, isn't it? Time stop of twice normal duration, 1 time per week. Total fire or heat resistance for all creatures within 20 feet of the item. total immunity from all forms of mental and psionic attacks, total immunity from all forms of cold, trap the soul with 90% effectiveness one time per month. That would be crazy to have trapped a dozen souls over the course of a year. User can cast combination spells if a spellcaster as follows. Rolling a d4, 1, 2, 3, or 4. First and second level spells simultaneously. 2, second and third level spells simultaneously. 3, third and fourth level spells simultaneously. Or 4, first, second, and third level spells simultaneously. That would take some thinking from me to imagine how you could use something like that. Obviously, each would have their own effects. So if you could summon a monster and throw a web spell and throw a sleep spell all in different directions simultaneously, okay. It's like having triple speed, I suppose. But thinking about that with the ability to use them simultaneously in combination effectively would be something that would take some thinking. Vanish 2 times per day. JJ Vision 1 time per day. Wish 1 time per day. And Youth Restored to Creature Touched 1 time per month. So this might be something you use to counter the effects of an aging spell or potion, something along those lines. It's definitely a very specific effect, but there aren't a lot of things beyond a wish which can be used to restore a creature who's been unnaturally aged, let's say by a monster's gaze or something nasty like that. Side effects. Should we just jump right into that? Most of those, in any event, are major spell effects, and being able to do any of those as a non-spellcaster is a huge boon for you. Being able to use that in addition to being a spellcaster, obviously is also a big deal, because some of those things are phenomenally useful and powerful. But don't forget, we talked about all those bad, malevolent things that can be happening to you while you have this artifact or relic. So maybe some of these that seem most powerful, that resurrection 7 times a week keeps coming back to mind. Maybe somebody gets that. You make sure that the downsides are highly nasty, so that you're giving away something great, but it comes with a great price, right? Side effects, these are kind of weird. A, alignment of possessor permanently changed to that of item. B, charisma of possessor reduced to 3 as long as item is owned. C, fear reaction possible in any creature within 20 feet of the item whenever a major or primary power is used. All, including possessor, must save versus magic or flee in panic. That could be awkward. D, fumble reaction possible. Okay, as C above, so replace fear reaction with fumble reaction. Everybody around you just drops all their stuff. Greed and covetousness reaction in all intelligent creatures viewing the item. Save versus magic or attack possessor and steal the item. Associates are only 25% likely to have to check Henchmen check loyalty first. Failure then requires a saving throw as above. So, I don't know, this is like the one ring being in the group, right? Everybody twitches and has a potential to want to covet it and make it their own precious. F. Lycanthropy inflicted upon the possessor. Type according to alignment of item. Lawful, werebear. Uh, there are so many different lycanthropy, not just in the monster manual itself, but in additional monster manual fiend folio combinations, right, for first edition. Or make up one of your own, right? Change to animal form involuntary and 50% likely. One check only. Whenever confronted and attacked by an enemy. So this is a lycanthropy that you automatically have just for possessing the item, and it pops up 50% of the time when confronted or attacked by an enemy if you carry this object around. Perhaps the object itself uses you as a defense mechanism and forces you to protect it from harm by turning you into this monster that needs to attack any enemy within the area. G. Treasure within 5-foot radius of mineral nature, metal or gems of non-magical type is reduced by 20 to 80% as the item consumes it to sustain its power. So whatever you're carrying, wealth-wise, metal or gems, treasure, so coins, jewelry, all of that sort of thing is going to be, well, jewelry is made out of gems and metals, so it counts too. Of a non-magical type, so it's not going to destroy your necklace of fireballs. But 20 to 80% of that treasure that's within 5-foot radius of the item will just be sucked into non-existence as its matter is consumed by your artifact or relic. User becomes ethereal whenever any major or primary power of the item is activated, and there is a 5% chance, cumulative chance, that he or she will thereafter become ethereal whenever a stress, combat, life or death, difficult problem in the involving user's decision, whenever a stress situation exists, the ethereal state lasts until stress is removed. So it's sort of a shrinking violet. Oh no, there's something going wrong, and you just sort of phase into an ethereal state. User becomes fantastically strong. 18 to 100 to 19 if 18 to 100 already. But very clumsy. So dexterity is reduced by as many points as strength was increased. And so no to hit bonuses are allowed for strength, and a -2 for clumsiness is given instead. Furthermore, the individual must be checked as if he or she has a fumble spell cast upon him or her whenever any item is handled or spell is to be cast by the user. That's an awful side effect. You just keep dropping everything, including the artifact or relic, I assume. J. User cannot touch or be touched by any, even magical metal. Metal simply passes through his or her body as if it did not exist and has no effect. Some of these, the ramifications, you can imagine, are out of this world. Some of them we can't even think of how they're going to manifest once this is happening in game, because I assure you these sorts of things coming up in game will present whole new situations that you couldn't even think of when you were just rolling it around in your head. K, user has a poison touch, which requires that humans and man-sized humanoids, but not undead, save versus poison whenever touched. Pretty nasty. L, user has limited omniscience and may request a DM to answer one question per game day. Answer is given with limitations set by the DM's discretion, with overall campaign factors and knowledge of player versus player character overriding considerations. So a bit of meta, but it's just meant to be an interesting player and DM dynamic adjustment. So if there's something that the DM's been cagey about in game when players were perhaps using commune spells or various other divinations, this is sort of saying, well, just answer a question. They've been You've been keeping something back and they've always been hankering over it, so just fill them in. M. User has short duration super charismatic effect upon creatures of the same basic alignment: evil, good, neutral, chaotic, lawful, true, neutral, so that they will willingly join and serve the character for 1 to 4, 2 to 8, or 3 to 12 turns, depending upon how exact the alignment matches. Thereafter, the effect of the Dwemer wears off, and the creature or creatures will no longer serve due to the realization of the enchantment and fear of it, and hostility possible. So they'll do your bidding for some period of time, maybe as many as a couple of hours, but or as long as a couple of hours. But that's once they snap out of it, they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it having been done to them. Whenever any power of the item is used, temperature within 60 foot radius is raised 20 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 8 turns. Moves with the item. Maybe not a bad thing if you're in a cold climb. If you're in a snowy area. Of course, there would be, don't be in an ice cave. It could melt it down on top of you. Whenever the major or prime power of the item is used, temperature within 60 feet is lowered 20 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 to 12 turns. Could get even lower. It's not a direct correlation with the other, and for a longer period of time. Again, moves with the item. Whenever the prime power is used, the possessor must save versus magic or lose 1 level of experience. Ouch! That could be a huge loss. Whenever the prime power is used, those creatures friendly to the user within 20 feet, excluding the user, will sustain 5 to 20 hit points of damage. Don't hang out with this guy. Whenever this item is used as a weapon to strike an enemy, it does double normal damage to the opponent, but the wielder takes normal damage just as if he or she had been struck by the item. Another nasty, nasty thing. So that's it for the side effects. Possible destruction. It goes through that, and I'm going to save that for next time. We're going to have a part 5 for sure, because we've got a whole section on that. Armor and shields, and what those things are. No, all of that comes after. Armor and shields is a separate thing, talking about the next table after artifacts. So let's just go through possible destruction. Possible destruction what does possible destruction means? Means as in methods. Possible destruction means for artifacts and relics. Artifacts and relics are virtually impervious to magical and physical harm, and each may only be destroyed by a single legendary means. Dropping the ring into Mount Doom, right? I mean, there's, you know, an echo of that there. Frequently, the supposed destruction is actually a form of nullification or containment of the artifact or relic, but results in the neutralization of its powers for vast periods of time. The following table suggests various means that might be appropriate or that might apply to the destruction of an artifact or relic and is open to additions and alterations by the DM. As always, no artifact or relic should have the same nemesis as another. So we don't want everybody making the trip to Mount Doom to drop their artifacts and relics in there. Of course, that would make that such a nexus of power that maybe that's its own thing. Though the means may be the same, the specifics should vary. It should be kept in mind that the means of destruction are as rare and nearly unattainable as are the artifacts and relics themselves. Actively seeking the destruction of an artifact or relic is tedious, demanding, and fraught with great perils to the body and soul, and the chances of surviving the destruction of an artifact or relic are minute without the grace of the gods. So destroying one of these things is likely to destroy you as well. The way to destroy a particular artifact or relic is to 1. Melt it down in the fiery furnace, pit, mountain, forge, crucible, or kiln in which it was created. 2. Drop it into or bury it beneath 1. The well of time, 2. The abyss, 3. The earth wound, 4. Adonis's 5. The Spring of Eternity, 6. Marion's Trench, 7. The Living Stone, 8. Mountain of Thunder, 9. 100 Adult Red Dragon Skulls, or 10. The Tree of the Universe. So these are all grandiose names for places that can be very significant in a legendary sense. 3. Cause it to be devoured by 1. Cerberus, 2. The Laernian Hydra, 3. A Titan, 4. An ancient dragon turtle, 4. Cause it to be broken against or by or crushed by Talos, a triple iron golem, the gates of hell, cornerstone of the world, Arthur's dolmen, a juggernaut of the endless labyrinth, the heel of a god, the clashing rocks, the foot of a humble ant. Just an ant crawling across it could destroy your your legendary artifact or relic. Okay, that'd be a little much. 5. Expose it to the penetrating light and flame of 1. The ray of eternal shrinking, 2. The sun, 3. Truth. That which is pure will become light. That which is impure will surely wither. 6. Cause it to be steeped in either the encephalic fluids of the brain of Bahamut, the platinum dragon, or in the black and foul blood from the heart of Tiamat, the chromatic dragon. So just go kill Tiamat and wring its heart out on top of your item. 7. Cause it to be seared by the odious flames of Gerion's destroyed soul, or disintegrated in the putrid ichor of Jublex's deliquescing flesh. I don't know that word at all. Sprinkle it. Not the first, huh, Mark? Okay. 8. Sprinkle it with, baptize it in, 1. The well of life, 2. The river Styx, 3. The river of flame, 4. River Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. So there's the risk of losing yourself in that, I suppose. Legended items and regions should be placed by the DM in his or her own milieu, in isolated locales, preferably warded by mighty, mythical, and magical guardians, such as the serpent which guarded the Golden Fleece. So there you go. That's pretty crazy. And that brings us to the last of that information. We'll take a turn on a um, fifth part for this series. We'll take a turn doing this again and looking over the various items individually. Each of them has their own innate powers beyond these tables that we looked at, which are things that you can add in addition to what it is. Um, so there's plenty more to see in these things, although we'll try to jump through them pretty quickly. I think we only have a few more weeks before the winter hiatus. I apologize to anybody who's been trying to contact me through the chat in the stream chat, because I know that that's not functioning for me right now. But welcome to you, and thanks for joining in today. So today's the 29th December. We got the 6th and the 13th and the 20th. So we really have 3 more weeks. So we're going to take 2 weeks more to deal with this, so we can take our time with the last of it, unless I want to rush through and add something else into the mix. Definitely for the final week before the hiatus, we'll have something, I don't know, special going on. I'm not sure what that'll be, but it'll be something interesting and different, and it'll cap off the year. Maybe it'll be a year in review sort of thing, right? Because we'll be off for a number of weeks, I think 4 weeks before we'll come back with season 3 in January. Anyway, there's a few more weeks to go here anyway. So, back to Artifacts and Relics, part 5 next week. And I will say, hey, thanks everybody for joining us today and checking this out. Dungeon Masters Guide, Artifacts and Relics, part 4. We'll be back with part 5, where we'll look at specific items next week. I want to thank you for joining the stream. Also, I want to say the show streams live on Twitch each Monday at 10 a.m. Central, and is then archived on YouTube. If you're catching up with it on Twitch, please do follow the channel. Chime in on the stream chat. Most weeks it works. If you're catching up with this on YouTube after it's been archived, definitely subscribe and click the little bell so that you're updated when new episodes are uploaded. By all means, comment if you wish to join in the conversation on it. And feel free to click the little thumbs up on any videos that you watch and enjoy. It would be appreciated. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.